Keir Starmer has to go over the Peter Mandelson scandal. It is an utter disgrace what we have seen happen in Parliament this week. So the files were released about Jeffrey Epstein, the details, the millions and millions of documents that were released, many redacted, of who Jeffrey Epstein associated with. And obviously questions were asked about Peter Mandelson. It turns out that not only was Peter Mandelson a good friend of Jeffrey Epstein, continued to be friends with Jeffrey Epstein after he was convicted of soliciting a minor for prostitution, paedophilia. And this has led to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, being in a position where he's frankly got to resign. Today at Prime Minister's Questions, if you didn't watch it, Keir Starmer was asked very clearly by Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party, what he knew and when about appointing Peter Mandelson. And Keir Starmer admitted he knew that Peter Mandelson had continued his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein after 2008 and 9 and still appointed him to be the US ambassador to the United Kingdom. Keir Starmer knew. He knew. And he still chose to appoint Peter Mandelson the ambassador. Keir Starmer has to resign. There is no ifs or buts about this. Labour have tried to deflect. They have tried to spin. They've tried today to say that this was Mandelson lying, that Mandelson deceived them. But he knew. Keir Starmer knew. And Kemi Badenoch and the Conservatives, very well done, held Labour to account. They had an opposition day today where they ripped up the rules and said the entire day would be about debating Peter Mandelson. And very well done, because it led to dozens of Labour MPs furious at what had been held in the dark, furious at the lack of transparency. Now, the Conservatives tabled a motion asking that all documents relating to Peter Mandelson's position as ambassador be published. And Labour very carefully put a little amendment that said, except those that we think will jeopardise national security or international relations. Sorry, that's not going to cut it. Firstly, this guy was the ambassador, so anything to do with him is regarding international relations. And secondly, your qualm about barring national security information, that doesn't get released anyway. That stuff is automatically off books. So it's just an opportunity for the Prime Minister to go, no. I don't want you to see this. I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to... It's a chance for him to hide things. That's all it is. And Labour MP after Labour MP stood up and said, no, it's not good enough. I want full transparency. Angela Rayner, making a return from the back benches, stood up and said it's not good enough. She wants everything to be published. And Labour were in freefall. Downing Street was putting statement out after statement out, trying to recover the narrative, trying to say that, it's all okay, it's all going to be all right. Mandelson lied, but it's all Mandelson's fault. But the buck stops with Keir Starmer. He knew that Peter Mandelson continued to be friends with a convicted child trafficker and still appointed him ambassador. Keir Starmer has to go. This is miles worse than Partygate. Boris Johnson was kicked out of office, one of the largest democratic mandates this country's seen, over a slice of cake, in a cake that wasn't even taken out of the box, bottles of champagne that weren't even popped, and sandwiches from the supermarket. Now, I know what everyone's going to say, oh, Partygate, the drinking, the party. Yes, the civil service went wild and had parties in Downing Street every week, were drinking till they were sick, breaking the children's furniture, all those sorts of things. But those civil servants ended up either getting fined or some of them fired. But Boris Johnson, A, wasn't in Downing Street on Fridays, was in Chequers when these parties were happening, and B, got fined and apologised for a slice of cake. Whereas this Prime Minister has appointed someone, the ambassador to the United Kingdom for the US, who was friends with a paedophile. He knew he continued to be friends with him. This is the 14th. We've had the farmers' tax, the winter fuel payment cuts, promising the WASPy women compensation, then getting rid of that compensation. All of the things that Labour said they would do, not treading on working people, but then raising taxes to record highs, selling the Chagos Islands. Oh no, not selling, paying for the privilege to hand away the Chagos Islands. Where is the outcry? Where is the decency from this lawyer, not a leader, this son of a toolmaker who's never here to actually resign? I thought he said when he came into office that his government would be full of integrity and be run far blooming better than the Conservatives were. Well, sorry, where the flipping heck is it? Because at the end of the day, there is people like us, working people who get up in the morning, who work damn hard and see more and more of our money go to the tax man. And then we see this. There's no change. It's worse. He is the most unpopular Prime Minister in British history. Liz Truss, no, he went hold my beer. Well, not his beer. It's probably zero alcohol because he's taxed alcohol through to the hilter. Honestly, where the heck is this country going? So I honestly, there's rumours that there's a reshuffle coming. There's rumours that Keir Starmer's going to roll the dice, have a reshuffle, maybe get rid of Rachel Reeves, push David Lammy to the outskirts, get in people like Angela Rayner again. There's rumours that he's going to try and do that to save himself. It's not good enough. Keir Starmer, you have to resign. The party's over. You have brought the country, your party, everyone into disrepute. You appointed someone who was a friend of a known paedophile, who you knew was still having that friendship. So my proposal to sort this mess out is Keir Starmer resigns. There's a leadership contest in Labour to get a new leader, and someone like Wes Streeting or someone completely untarnished by scandal so far takes over, and Labour actually come up with an idea and direction of where they want to go. Because at the moment, we have no idea. None of the stuff that Labour is doing was in their manifesto. Where was it that they were going to introduce digital ID? Where was their one-in, one-out system for the small boats crisis, which has actually led to an increase in immigrants coming over here illegally? Where was raising taxes on millions of us to record high? Where was this £22 billion black hole that no one can point to and no one can find any evidence of? Where was selling off, not selling off, paying for the privilege to get rid of the Chagos Islands? Where was cutting winter fuel payments for pensioners? Then you turning on it. Giving compensation to the waspy women? Oh no, can't do that, cancel that. Where was taxing farmers, British farmers, working hard to put food on the table? Where the heck was any of this? This week is worse. It is so much worse than Partygate. And I remember that. I work for an MP. I was there when the revelations were coming out about Partygate, furious at what was coming out. And the civil service, what they had done, what politicians had done, the truth about what politicians like Boris Johnson had done compared to what the media and the world thought he had done. I was there and I was angry. And I'm even more angry right now. Because Labour promised all of us that they would be different and better and cleaner. But they are not. And Keir Starmer, I'm sorry, but this is one too far. This is a decision you have to own. You appointed Peter Mandelson against the advice of the advisors, against the recommendations. You undertook the vetting for him and realised he was still friends with a paedophile, with someone who trafficked children for prostitution, and you still appointed him. Keir Starmer, the party's over. Resign. Like, comment, share, subscribe, get involved in the discussion. I need a drink.